Hello and welcome back to the channel. As you've seen from the title, the description, the thumbnail, everything else, today we're going to be taking a look at Apple's latest offering, which they didn't actually announce the way that they normally announce products. Anyway, the AirPods Pro. Super awkward name. I don't think I ever actually made a video about it, but I purchased the original AirPods, the Gen 1 AirPods, and I've had a very mixed reaction to them. The sound, I like the sound quality. I've heard a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. For me, it was the fit. It was the putting it in my ear and then it falls immediately back out. And you can see it's in my ear, but it's not staying in there firmly. And if I leave it there for longer than just a few seconds, it falls right out. Not really comfortable for me. The battery life, the fact that it comes with a really small dental floss looking case. I like that that fits in a pocket and you can get a lot of battery life out of it. But I do find myself gravitating toward something like this more often than not because I have replaceable tips on these. I put foam tips on them. These are the Beats X. I made a video about them a while back as well. These have been great for me, but having the wires on them, even though they're not like super long and in the way, it just, they kind of bunch up, and if you stick them in a bag, it's awkward. Carrying them in a pocket, even more so. So I thought I would give these a try. These retail for $250 on Apple's website, which is a bit much. I think I paid $150, maybe $130 for the original AirPods when I got them, and I'm pretty sure I got the Beats X for like $80 or $90. So for $250, these hopefully are going to be significantly better. There's a little picture on the back of the case. It does come with a wireless charging case, and I think to get the newer generation AirPods with a charging case, it's like $199. So for $249 to step up to something like this sounds kind of reasonable. I'm gonna go ahead and start opening these, but really the big difference between these and the last generation, any of the AirPods so far, are the tips. The tips are more along the lines of the Beats X. That's why I have them here with me, because the tips on the original AirPods, they just don't fit. They don't stay in my ear well. They don't do any kind of seal in my ear. Hopefully these are better. Anyway, designed by Apple, you get some AirPods documentation and probably stickers, and there are no stickers. I'm actually really surprised. Then you get the AirPods themselves in the case. I'll just go ahead and peel all this off. Come right back to that in a second. And there's a little handle here. Now this is one of the interesting parts. So if we open this up somehow, there are, as you can probably see, 2 additional pairs of silicone ear tips. And if I flip them the correct way, you can see small and large, so medium are pre-installed. So again, that's one of the big, nice new selling features, is that it has silicone ear tips instead of having those big awkward discs that you stick in your ear. Ooh. You also get a Lightning to USB-C cable. If this is the same one they sell for the newer iPhones, this is like a $25 cable. I'm okay with this. You can never have too many of those. In fact, I actually just bought a couple of those from Anker while I was on vacation a few weeks ago. But just for a quick point of comparison between the two, this is the new AirPods Pro case and the original AirPods Generation 1 case. You can see it's not that much bigger. It's a little bigger. I'll flip this open and the light starts flashing on it. Flip the other one open, you can see there's a green light on it. The light on this one is on the front, so it's a whole lot easier to see. And again, just for comparison, original AirPods Pro. So you can see you have the silicone tip on here. It has microphones all around it. It has an air hole. This is where the microphone was on the original one. You can see it's covered over here. So I'm guessing all that microphone goodness is going to have to be a part of the rest of the ear tip. That sort of brings us to one of the best new features of these AirPods Pro, active noise canceling, as well as a transparency mode. So you can probably tell here I have the left earbud. There's a small section right here that has a force sensitive or pressure sensitive button on it. So with the previous ones, you'd put them in and have to tap them and you're just like smacking yourself on the side of the head to make things happen. With these, you squeeze the tip. A little awkward of a gesture, but still better to have this in an ear, squish it. Actually, as I'm squishing it, I don't feel a button. So I'm guessing it's just a pressure sensitive area. There is a little indentation there. Without any further ado, I'm going on and on. I've got my iPhone here with me. I'm gonna go ahead and, So it says here, software update. Some features of this audio accessory require a newer version of iOS. Thought I had the latest version. Apparently I do not. iOS 13.2 is now out, so I'm gonna download and install it. It does mention that Deep Fusion is now available, as well as additional emojis and support for messages for AirPods, support for AirPods Pro, HomeKit enabled routers and things of that nature. It says it only could take about a minute, so hopefully that will be done pretty quickly. Other things to mention about this while we're waiting. It does still have a lightning port on the bottom. Seems a little silly, but it does stick with the iPhone having a lightning port. It means you can have one cable to charge both devices. It does support wireless charging, meaning you can set it down on a Qi charging pad and it should charge that way. You're supposed to get, I think, 4.5 to 5 hours of life out of the earbuds themselves, and over 24 hours, 24 plus hours when you pair it with the case. And you can get an hour of charge. So if you wipe the AirPods out completely, AirPods Pro, wipe them out completely, stick them in the case, in 5 minutes you get 1 hour of charge. That's actually pretty decent in my opinion. I still just find it kind of funny that they're almost exactly the same footprint. The new one is ever so slightly larger and just a tiny bit thicker, but it's like they just took it and knocked it over on its side. Anyway, gonna let iOS update and I'll be right back. And entirely too long later, we are back. Software update is complete. Let's just see what happens. If I open this now, the light comes on, and then, oh yeah, there we go. AirPods Pro, connect. Connecting. Media control, press once on either AirPod to play and pause. Press and hold on either to switch between noise cancellation and transparency. That's configurable. You can swipe down from there and use the volume slider to view additional controls. And announce messages. You can have SIRI read out your messages without having to say anything. I'm going to say not now, but there we go. It says I have 68% battery in the case, 74% in the pods. Hit done, and we will put them in, see how comfortable they are, if at all. Okay, immediately noticing a problem here. Maybe it's just me. I've not seen this in any other videos. Maybe my hands are slick or something. Must just be a little bit slick, but like trying to pull these out of the case, my fingers keep kind of slipping off. Whereas with the original pods, if I just opened them up, there was this grippy edge here that felt terrible in my ear. With the new ones, let's just say, yeah, the right one I can pull out really easily, put in the ear canal. That feels a lot better. That feels comfortable. And it's in. I heard them both switch on. Let's see what mode I am in. So if I go ahead and push down on this, it says I'm in the noise cancellation mode. So I can still hear myself talking, so it's not like canceling everything. I can put it to transparency mode. And now that's interesting. I can hear myself talking, but it sounds like I'm listening to myself through a microphone, because I am. That's very weird. Then I can put it to off mode, which kind of sounds similar to noise cancellation, where it's my voice sounds very boomy, but it's hard to tell how loud I'm talking. So put it back to noise cancellation. That's a really weird feeling. Let's try some music. And you won't be able to hear anything that I'm hearing, but you know, that's how it works. I'm gonna try the play pause. I can't hear what I'm saying. Try play pause using the buds. So one tap paused it, one tap played it, double tap switch to the next song, 3 taps goes back. And then we'll hold it. That switched to transparency mode. I'm listening to music, I can't hear a difference. And it switched back. If I had a lot of background noise, I'd be able to tell a difference, but I don't at the moment. But so far, just listening to them for like 30 seconds there, going between a few different songs, I like the way that they sound. Do they sound better than the original AirPods? Probably by a little bit. I am not an audiophile, so it's hard for me to really say, these sound super amazing, and the high ends and the low ends and the mid. I don't know all of those terms. I've heard other people talk about them in those kinds of ways. And basically, when they compare them to the nearest competitor, which is the Sony WF-1000XM3, Sony's offering that's very similar, they say that the Sony sounds a little better, but the experience with the AirPods, so much better. Much more comfortable fit, dealing with the noise control, noise cancellation. It's a whole lot easier. The app, because the app for the Sony's not great, but the sound quality on the Sony's probably a little bit better. So it's more of, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to have a great experience or a slightly better listening experience with better sound quality? I'm probably honestly going to stick with the better experience overall, because having something this small, Sony's is like a lot bigger, something that fits comfortably in my ears, that has easy to use controls, that has halfway decent battery life, not the best, not the worst. I'm gonna say after using them for, again, 30 seconds, I'm pretty impressed with them so far. Infinitely more impressed than I was with the original AirPods. That's why I never made an official video about the AirPods, because putting them in my ears, it was just, look, it's in my ear. And right now, this one time, it's staying in my ear for more than 2 seconds. This one, they're both, they're not comfortable, but their sound quality was okay as well. And that's what I kept finding myself doing with the original AirPods, is these are the original AirPods. I would put them in, and then I would have to like shove them in there deep and like pull my ear up and around and do this and hope that they would stay in place for more than like 30 seconds. Yeah, just sitting still, not doing anything. This one's about to fall out. I'm just going back and forth between the two now. There's supposed to be a way to put both of them on at the same time. That would be great, I think. Another thing I forgot to mention, if you go into Bluetooth and go into the AirPods Pro settings, you can change the noise control here, change the name, press and hold the button, see what they do. So noise control, I can change between noise control and transparency. I could use it for the built-in assistant. And then there's also an ear tip fit test. Again, I've seen everybody do this, but I thought I would do it as well. Let's see. It's now playing music in my left ear. I didn't hear anything in my right ear. That's interesting. But it says I have a good seal on both. I may go back through and try out different tips because these don't feel like they're in there quite right. I mean, they're staying in a lot better than the AirPods were. Let's switch out for the large ones. That's another thing I should probably mention, and I'm going to pull this off so you can see it. That's interesting. It's got kind of a hard shell around it, and it was really difficult for me to get off, but I'm guessing I had to use this little clip here. And as you can probably see here, unlike traditional earbuds, it doesn't have the same kind of tip, so it just kind of clicks on like that. Yeah, that's not staying in there very well either. Let's see what it says. So I've got one large and one medium. It still says good seal on both. Yeah, that doesn't feel nearly as comfortable. But because they have this different kind of tip on them, they're not going to be easy to find replacements anytime soon until the gray market gets on it. And I mean, that wasn't terribly difficult to install, but a little more awkward than I'd like. Yeah, just very early impressions. They stay in my ears an awful lot better than the original AirPods. The sound quality is very similar to the original AirPods. So that said, I've not tried out the AirPods Generation 2, so I don't know if these are exactly the same as those, but they're, again, very similar to the first generation AirPods, so I can only assume the second gen is very similar in terms of sound as well. I would say, if anything, it's marginally better. So if you have the original AirPods, the biggest factor I would say in whether or not you should consider upgrading to the AirPods Pro, okay, two things. One, do they fit in your ear properly? Do the original AirPods actually fit and stay in your ear comfortably? There's a percentage of people that they work great for. If they work for you, more power to you. The other thing is the active noise canceling, and I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but I've heard great things. Once I'm in a louder environment, I'll definitely give it more of a shot. But if you need active noise canceling in something this small that you can use for 4 hours at a time and cancel out all of the noise around you, that's pretty impressive, my opinion. And to be able to put it back in here for 5 minutes and get another hour, and then do it 5 minutes, another hour. I could see using these with my laptop for work for all day just to have background noise playing for me. So that's probably what I'll use them for. But that's where I'm going to wrap this up. I'll put links to where you can find this, affiliate links that help support the channel. If you would like to use those to purchase, I definitely appreciate it. If you choose not to buy them, that's perfectly cool as well. I leave that entirely up to you. $250 for a pair of earphones is definitely a lot to ask. I understand that entirely. So be on the lookout. They may be on sale when it comes to Black Friday or through the holiday season. Again, I'll have links to everything down below, and if I happen to see a deal on it or something, I'll post it over on Twitter. I do have a Twitter. If you don't follow it, it's probably linked down below as well. But let me know what you think. Hit the thumbs up if you liked the video, if you liked the presentation. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to get notified when new videos come out. Hit the notification bell if you actually want to get notified when those videos do come out, because YouTube doesn't do that otherwise. And I'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.